Disney, a defunct distribution logo, and the remake of Revenge of the Nerds that I'll never get to sin because of it. This DNA spiral only contains one of the correct nucleotides.
Never enough tins of tomatoes, eh?
Tins.
Get 5 tins of chickpeas. That should last at least 5 years, eh?
Turning your nose up at chickpeas when in a potential post-apocalyptic scenario that would point toward an eventual food shortage. Less than 2 minutes in, and I'm positive that Don is a fucking wanker that I will not like even before he is turned into an infected. And all of that is before discovering he leaves his wife to defend herself to save his own ass a few minutes later.
You're in luck.
This dusty bottle plays games with your mind about how long they've been holed up in this house. This scene takes place somewhere in the middle of the 28 days from the first movie. Cillian Murphy probably hasn't even woken up yet. This bottle has always been old.
Gorgeous.
Chekhov's love.
Not interrupting, am I?
Cock-blocking Sally's.
Karen?
Karen's.
It's been 5 days since your boyfriend ran out on us.
It'll still be 2 days till we say we're sorry.
There are no survivors. It's just us in here and them out there.
I mean, think of the odds of the script knocking on the door right after that statement.
Don, it's a kid!
Knowing this and still opening the door. So it begins, and by it, I mean the rapid, unintelligible cutting. Shaking the camera like you're Andre 3000 with a Polaroid picture, even though the plot and the picture will develop at the same rate no matter how hard you shake it. Quick, Jeff, tell them about the notes of autumn. Maybe it will distract them for a bit.
I get blackberries, vanilla, notes of autumn.
It was worth a try.
Don! Help us!
Movies have spent a century convincing us that when faced with the choice of dying for a loved one, the answer is a simple yes. You stand in front of that bullet, you jump on that grenade, you drink that poison, you die in freezing water even though there was most definitely room on the door for 2 people. Truth is, the decision to give up your life for another is not that cut and dry. The emotions that underpin such a choice also require tremendous will to go through with the sacrifice. Yet this is a thing that humans often do. An examination of the morality behind Don's choice should have been the central tension of this movie. It was compelling and way more interesting than anything that happens to Tammy and Andy. The Running Dead. Also, I always thought it was just the infected that got dosed with the ability to be as fast as Jesse Owens, but apparently that goes for any character that needs to be able to run fast in the moment. This water may be shallow enough to stand in, but it raises the question, can these zombies swim? If they have the agility to run, I would surmise they should also be able to swim. And supposedly they all starved to death without a single one of them setting a record in crossing the English Channel.
This is the worst combat I ever saw. Where's the f***ing combat?
What part of the infected have died of starvation made you think there would be combat when you got here?
Northeastern Med Center. 20th floor, 3 windows in. Fat guy, jerking off in the toilet.
Excitement? This plane that we see landing at London City Airport pulls up to a gate at London Stansted Airport.
No one told me that we're now admitting children.
And I, as a viewer, now know that this was a unique and important story event.
Welcome back to Britain.
Britain.
There are a large number of bodies still left to be cleared.
Repatriation orientations position.
We understand that it did not manage to go cross-species.
Yes.
That it did not manage to go airborne, and that the last infected human died 6 months ago.
Look at the size of the hubris on this guy. Makes premature celebration feel like an understatement. Walking right through the memorial. This family is the worst.
I basically run the place, you know?
No, you're the caretaker, really, aren't you?
Tammy would be excellent at CinemaSins.
Was there nothing you could do?
No, there was nothing I could do.
Now Don has doubled down on his choice earlier. He lies to his kids and sets up even more tension that begs for a resolution. But instead of capitalizing on that, this only ends up being a means for the story to get its resurgence of infected. Isn't 28 weeks a little too soon to be making these kinds of jokes? Especially to people who have had to be up close to the ugly problem at hand? Because I think it probably is, and Doyle is a terrible person. Also, that moment when you realize there was a time when Harold Perrineau was a bigger name than Idris Elba, Jeremy Renner, and Rose Byrne. Not saying I have an issue with it, but in 2025, it's kind of funny.
I'm back in this
Really? But
We have hot and cold running water, 24-hour electricity, a medical center, a supermarket, and even a pub.
I mean, there are a lot worse places to have to soldier. They could have sent you to Burning Man. Andy sees his mom's eye with the same burst blood vessels that we will see her with later. Is this a nightmare? A premonition? Or a cheap jump scare inserted because the movie has lost a significant amount of momentum since it had all the infected die of natural causes 12 minutes into the movie?
I get worried I'm gonna forget what she looks like.
And sometimes I worry I'll forget how to skip. Nope, I'm good.
Andy, we agreed. You heard what they said, it's only dogs and rats out there.
Thinking that hungry dogs and rats are 2 things not to be concerned about.
Where are you going?
Hawkeye doesn't save everyone in the city by taking the shot.
Let's go.
Doing the most stereotypical older sibling shit ever by not telling your brother you got that helmet off a dead guy. This sequence motorbikes on for all the some time.
Tammy.
Andy just entered a room in his house that looks like something out of a horror movie and has rotten food and maggots everywhere. You would think the general fragrance would inspire more than a little caution. Yet he doesn't immediately have more concerns than, I wonder how this can smells. If Alice had been here the whole time, why wasn't she using the downstairs for anything? It was borderline spotless down there. With choppers and vehicles at the ready, and Doyle letting everyone know the kids had escaped immediately, why did it take them this long to catch up with the kids? Did the military want to give Tammy and Andy enough time to find Alice, who no one knew was still alive? Did the military read the script?
Have you come into direct contact with the infected?
Flashback cuts right to her running through the woods, skipping over any explanation of how she got out of the house. Even with her immunity, the infected don't just take one light bite and move on like it's a game of tag. They murder the fuck out of you until you start spitting blood.
You said you saw her die.
So now that his kids have caught him in the lie, I don't think the nipple of this tension can be tweaked any further. I can't wait to see where this goes, and I'm certain it won't become irrelevant in about 5 minutes. This soldier stood in this room the entire time listening to these kids confront their dad about leaving their mom to die, and we didn't get a single raised eyebrow, awkward breath, or oh snap.
If this woman has natural immunity, she is incredibly valuable.
Less than 20 seconds ago, you just said,
But the virus is still in her blood and saliva, so technically she's not immune.
a lot of what is going on here could benefit from an attempt to explain what having natural immunity but being technically not immune means. I know they set up earlier that Don was Mr. Fix-It, and so he had access to everywhere, but do they seriously not have some security measures set up to prevent a glorified handyman from being able to enter a secure room with a potential infected threat? Because they f***ing should!
I shouldn't have run away. I'm scared.
So Don and his wife are reunited, which leads to a kiss that ends with him becoming infected. There's never a clear suggestion that she does this on purpose or that the kiss was legit and she forgives him. She has a look on her face like she knew what she was doing, but then she starts freaking out. That could be because she realizes he's going to kill her, but I'm not sure how she would know for certain she could infect someone. Also, the choice to do the scene this way and give the audience nothing in the way of understanding Alice's motivation is extremely odd, or at least very dissatisfying, especially since the movie spends so much time making you wonder about the implications of Don's decision to leave his wife behind. I can't show you what's happening, but my best guess here is that the sin is marriage. The choice to film this from over Don's shoulder so you can barely see him or tell what the f*** is happening was certainly a choice. Talking, mapping, locking, containment?
Andy, keep hold of my hand.
Andy! Scarlet!
You had one job, Andy.
Shut down civilian areas.
Movie never sheds light on how reducing visibility was ever thought to be a good idea in any situation involving the infected.
Dad.
Don being here right now has to be beyond coincidence. Where the first movie attempted to be more grounded, this one is content with doing another take on the supernatural horror villain. Also, the movie went out of its way to show us all the keycard access Don needed to get around this place. Is he now, even though he's gone full monster mode, still using the keycard? I mean, it would be hilarious if they showed us that. It's practically a sin they don't. Also, this code red hasn't locked down shit. If anything, I think it unlocked more of the doors. We have no idea who he just tackled. Context clues would make you think it was his son, Andy. Look at me thinking context matters like a chump. Does Andy think that information is helpful to anyone? I'm just saying maybe adding in an "and he's infected" isn't too much to ask. For this scene, they put a camera and a flashlight in a blender, and then put that blender in a paint shaker. I was able to pick out this woman and a handful of other people laughing in this scene. I'm not going to count them all. I'm guessing it was about 28. This kid managed to crowd surf up into the vent during the equivalent of a strong bad light switch rave.
Confirm only target infected.
I mean, that should be the order, but how is that order even remotely possible to carry out with a decent success rate? At least turn all the goddamn power back on so it would be a little easier to make out the infected in all this fucking chaos. Why didn't somebody lock that one goddamn door? Why wasn't that a fucking order?
Tom?
That's a funny way to say, holy crap, I can't believe I found you. Like, I literally don't believe it, and I don't think anyone watching will either.
Shooting everybody.
Makes no sense.
It makes perfect sense. It's code red.
Code Red is a military plan that the higher-ups put in action to kill everyone if containment fails. That does not in any fucking way make it make sense.
Why aren't you at your post?
The script told me to be here, but play it as being inspired by a vague sense of moral obligation.
Close frequency.
Aren't all military frequencies closed? Is this one extra closed so only best friends can access it?
It's the flesh wound.
Doing Monty Python and the Holy Grail jokes at a time like this.
No! Andy!
Andy survives this. The lack of lighting and extra cutting makes it hard to tell how stupid his choice was, but I assure you it was dumb and should have gotten him killed. In the entire first movie and this one, the virus turns people into irrational rage monsters that can't help but run at you. But since the virus has encountered this family, it's much more driven by story need, as if it has mutated into a plot virus. No, not the diorama art store. Out of all the infected, Dawn has to somehow be the stealthy one. They've made Dawn this franchise's bub, but unlike Dawn, we've f***ing loved Bub. And if you don't know who Bub is, quit watching f***ing movies like this and go watch Day of the Dead. And if you have to ask me which version, f*** you. Having the surprise reveal of Alice is still alive, and then less than 15 minutes later have the surprise reveal of, oh wait, we f***ing killed her off again. And then less than 15 minutes after that, choose to show her decaying corpse being burnt to a crisp. It's grimy as f***. And this movie isn't good enough to make me feel anything other than gross, and not in the fun horror movie way. The footbridge that is in every modern London movie, and is between everyone and their desired London destination at all times. I wish I got to see the looks on these f***ers' faces when they realized there was no one else in England. I picture them stopping to look at each other, and one says, well, now what? And the other one responds with, uh-oh. After they flamed out that entire area, how are there still this many infected running around? Between this and that f***ing door not being locked, Code Red really f***ing sucked in execution. Even in a non-American landscape on the brink of the apocalypse, McDonald's can still find a way to get some advertising in. Random close-up of Poots is random and Pootsy. Even in presumed death, not letting this man forget about his noticeable teeth. Reminding me that I could have been watching the Carter Steam Fair's How to Build the Steam Gallopers video several times over by now. See, even when there isn't shit in this world to do, carousels are still a fucking drag. Why do they exist? And don't tell me because kids love them. Kids love Minecraft too. Doesn't make it a good thing.
They left us again.
They didn't leave you the first time. You were on a fucking class trip and all of Britain got shut the fuck down. Even a kid as dumb as Andy should understand that isn't the same as child abandonment.
I got that boy on my side. It's not a target anymore.
That's all well and good, but will anyone think about the fact that if the boy had run off with the girl and then found the mom, none of this shit would have happened? This is clearly 100% Andy's fault. And before you judge, you were fucking thinking it too.
Their mother had very special blood, a natural kind of immunity to the virus.
To reiterate one more time, what you said was...
So technically, she's not immune.
And that still makes no fucking sense to me. I realize this movie is dumb, but didn't realize it would achieve jackass ruins the rescue plan by hanging off the helicopter levels of dumb. But here we are. This scene where Flynn gets to chop up the infected with helicopter blades is really the only reason this movie needed a helicopter. I can see being irritated at the guy trying to get in the helicopter, but Flynn's reaction to the death of Discount Apple CEO Tim Cook is as if they had a long-standing grievance, like this guy bullied him in high school.
Doyle! You need to get to safe ground! Get to the stadium!
This is like when you reach a checkpoint in a video game, but the story isn't ready for you to actually win anything yet. So some bullshit happens in the cutscene, and your new goal is set somewhere all the way on the other side of the map.
Ditch those people! I'm not taking them!
Doyle could very easily explain over calm why the kids are important and the fact that Scarlett is one of them, but chooses not to because reasons.
I need you to help me, okay? Help me with your sister.
Because girls are dumb and always need our help when discount zombies are chasing after us.
Yeah, get back!
Now they're going to outrun f***ing gas? Gas? I don't have a strong opinion on fast versus slow zombies, but I do know the editing for most of this movie can f*** all the way off to zombie movie hell.
You pop the clutch when I tell you.
The one request my college girlfriend would never grant me somehow makes its way into the movie. Maybe it's because we were never in a car when I asked. I keep thinking that I've seen the stupidest part of the movie and then something like this happens. Jeremy rendered. Also, at least the kids will have a that one time at Burning Man story. Also, movie sets Doyle on fire instead of Scarlett and ruins my chance to do a Rose Byrne sin, which would have been a perfect follow-up to my Gabriel Byrne sin from the Hereditary video, and god damn it, 28 weeks later, how many more opportunities will I have to do that? And no, Jeremy rendered doesn't make up for it.
Oh my god!
You know, you could stop, I don't know, looking? Discount Sacha Baron Cohen's eyes. The one thing this movie gets right is that Volvo does make a damn good car. The one thing. Thank God the U.S. military teach the medics advanced getaway driving courses.
I can see, it's okay. I've got the night sight on, you're doing great. Just hold the rail.
The desire to film the characters in night vision overruled the more logical choice, which would be Scarlett going in front with the scope and the kids following closely behind. Instead, we get this weird backseat driving nonsense that looks dumb and feels dumber.
Scarlett, come see it!
Okay, go to your right.
Ah, it's irritating and worth at least 28 weeks of sins. Also, nothing reeks of shitty late-aughts American horror more than the use of night vision POV. Yeah, Spain figured out how to make it work in Wreck, but that shit only works once. Not a single one of these infected have ever stealthily snuck up on anyone, so why all of a sudden does infected Don have the ability to do this other than the movie needs him to have that ability? Seeing Scarlet getting beat to death from the perspective of the night vision scope she was using so poorly is a weird attempt at justice. Imogen shoots. Still pissed I couldn't do the Rose Byrne sin, but I'll take it. Andy. I mean, no, but also Andy.
Am I one of them?
No, you're not.
I mean, but technically he is. Maybe Andy won't have the need to burrow people's eye sockets out and eat them, but he can still infect others with the rage virus. I'm not sure how keeping any of this from him is helping at the moment. I mean, what if he runs off and in the heat of the moment kisses Scarlet? I know that's what I'd be doing next. Oh, what's that? Scarlet's dead? Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I still stand by my sin. Wait.
Come on, get in.
There's an island nearby that I think I can get us to. Fucking weird though. There are polar bears and a smoke monster, and we might have to travel back in time to the 70s. You know what? I'll explain on the way. It's impossible to tell if the outbreak is spreading through Paris or John Wick is working again. Also, the movie doesn't make it clear whether other infected cross the channel or if Andy is to blame for engaging in the French practice of la bise.
It's like kissing a girl through a plate glass window.
What have we here?
I am not drinking any fucking Merlot!
But that'll shoot down your plane.
Although the Isle of Dogs is completely safe, the surrounding area of London is not.
Blizzards of infected fleas, worms, ticks, and lice menace the citizenship.
We weren't here 6 months ago.
You know, if you want to get laid, you really don't have to pretend to be interested in the pyramid scam.
If it comes back, we kill it. It's code red.
Mountain Dew?
Everything smelled of piss.
Including me.
He came in through the kitchen window.
What if they come in through the back door or the bathroom window like that infamous Beatles song?
I'm sorry about the delousing, Rod. It's standard procedure.
It's powdered sugar.
Step 1, kill the infected. Step 2, containment.
Phase 3, profit.
They're shooting at us!
Driving erratic. Suspects are under the influence of narcotics.